Okay, so this is Devlog 2. I've added main menu scene. I've added multiplayer, so there's room joining now. With the guns, I've switched it from raycast to physics bullets, so it can bounce off of stuff instead of just deleting itself as soon as it spawns. Now there's bullet drop too. And then with the grabbing system, I've reworked that, so instead of it just being one layer all the time, it switches layers when you release the object, so you still can't fly with it, but when you release it, you can walk on it. I've added ragdolls. You can grab it by its arm. You can grab it by anything other than, yeah. And then that ragdoll is the old one. This one's the new one, so you can grab it by anything. And then I've added the spawning tool, as you can see. I've added a weld tool, so you can weld two objects together. So these two objects are welded together now. You can't break them apart. You can stretch them a little bit, but that's about it. And then I've added a wire tool, so you can select a button, and you can select the I guess tool thing that you want to wire it to. You enable the button, the thruster starts. I've added a new map. There's buoyancy now with the water. I've found a water that kinda looks good with built-in render pipeline. I've added grabbing with moving objects so that, yeah. I was testing out like echoes in rooms, and then I think that's everything that I've added for sandbox, other than I've added grenades. There is new weapons, there's a bunch of tools, you've already seen those, a bunch of ammo, all these guns. I'll show you the guns in the other scene. I've added that menu so that you can disconnect from lobbies. It says player disconnected. It will say host disconnected when the host disconnects. And then in the testing room, there's a bunch of rigid bodies. So 25, usually it's the best with physics, but very slow bullet. 50, slightly worse with physics, but better bullet. A speed. And then 75, this is probably the one that I'll use, but it's good with physics sometimes, and then it's also good with good bullet speed for long distances. So if somebody was over there, you'd still have a drop with the bullet, but it's a whole lot better than 50, 100. It just does not work with physics. The bullet always goes through it. The grenade launcher is just, I was testing out different bullet prefabs because I had to edit the entire script for the gun system and change a bunch of stuff from raycast to physics. And then the RPG, the blast radius is too big and the blast strength is too big. So, like, all of that just goes everywhere. And then for horror, I've added just horror. You can use crowbars to open crates. You can, the turrets, if the spider comes up here, then the turrets will shoot it. The crates are not networked, but you can use a crowbar to break them. I've added that message, and then I have added, you have to find 3 generators like this one There's one on each layer of the cave. So this is the top layer. The middle layer is slightly below this one, and then it's slightly darker. The spider is usually down there. It's all red. That's the middle layer, and then the bottom layer has no lights. It's completely dark. You only have this flashlight to use. And then if you die, you will respawn. A ragdoll will spawn, and everything's networked, I believe, other than the crates. The crates are not networked. I think that's it. That's everything I've added for Devlog 2 in the past 2 months.